great short workout. Feeling good, feeling strong, strengthening the temple, honoring Yahuwah by honoring His creation. He lives within us, and so we seek to honor Yahuwah by keeping ourselves strong, by nurturing ourselves, keeping ourselves healthy, by eating Yah's food, by building, strengthening the temple through resistance training, through exercise, through keeping ourselves strong and healthy, so that we can do all things heartily in Yahuwah, not in man. All things done with gusto in Yahuwah, not in man. All things done with vim and vigor in Yahuwah, not in man. Paul in Colossians. Do all things heartily, as in Yahuwah, as if all things that you do, you're doing them in Yahuwah, not for man. We don't run around yoked to man, doing the bidding of man and his rules, regulations, traditions. We honor Yahuwah by doing all good, wholesome, productive tasks in Yahuwah. And we keep ourselves strong and healthy in honor of Yahuwah. Not for us, for Yahuwah. For if we're strong, for if we're healthy, we do all things robustly, dynamically, as in Yahuwah, so that we can carry out His revelations, His epiphanies, His will be done. But how can we do that if we're sick and we're broken? And if we're not taking care of ourselves? And if we're lackadaisical in our nurturing of the temple that houses the Ruach HaKodesh? The Ruach HaKodesh lives within us. We wield it as a sword against all evil, sin, rulers of darkness, the hosts of wickedness that seek to occupy the heavenly places. They cannot stand against us because we wield the sword, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Spirit, which obliterates all evil and sin that gets in our way as we carry out the tasks as in Yahuwah, strong with gusto, robustness, dynamism. For when we do those things yoked to man, chained to man, bound to man, we do them with connivance. We do them with a contrarian approach. We do them from a place of hatred. We do them from a place of guile and craftiness. We do them from a place, if none of those things, then from seeking the glory and esteem of other men, which is worthless. The glory and esteem of other men means nothing. We carry out our day-to-day in honor of Yahuwah, the Most High, the Supreme Elohim, He who creates, He who breathes into existence. But how can we do that if we're not looking after the temple, if we're not strength? We want to stay strong, we want to stay vibrant, we want to stay robust, we want to stay dynamic, we want to stay healthy, we want to stay on a powerful frequency so we can carry out the will of Yahuwah. His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And if we're going to carry that, if we're going to walk this path and clear the path for the second coming of Yahusha, the Most High, who saves, the Most High, who delivers, the Most High, manifested His flesh. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was with Yahuwah. And the Word was Yahuwah, and the Word was made flesh. And Yahusha HaMashiach is the Word made flesh. Yahusha the Messiah. Yah, the Most High, who saves. Yah, the Most High, who delivers. Yah, the Most High, who redeems. How are we going to do that? How are we going to, as John the Baptist said, straighten the path, straighten the crooked roads, for He is coming? How are we going to do that if we're sick, weak, crippled by disease, crippled by our own vices, crippled by our own lust, temptation, comfort, luxury, crippled by our own indulgences, by our own addictions, by drugs, alcohol, by decadence and depravity? How are we going to do that if we're neglecting the temple that houses the Ruach HaKodesh, that houses the Supreme Elohim. He lives within us. This is the temple. This is why we train. This is why we work out. This is why we put in the effort and the time, so that we are strong as we pave the way, as we clear the path for the coming of Yahusha. And so that others, we're an example for our people. How can we be an example for our people if we neglect ourselves, if we treat ourselves poorly, if we don't nurture ourselves so that we can carry out Yahuwah's will? We have to do it with a vibrant vigor. How are we going to do that if we don't have the energy? And how are we going to have the energy if we don't eat right, if we don't train right, if we don't sleep right, if we're out partying, celebrating, drinking, doing drugs? How are we going to do that? How? Never underestimate your capacity to help your fellow man. No matter how bad you think you're doing, no matter how little you think you have more than you know. You have more than you'll ever know. I was out today in this, what an incredible day, so beautiful. The temperature so amazing, the sun bright and brilliant, the sky's blue, walking barefoot in a field with my beautiful wife, walking barefoot, taking in the sun, taking in nature, the beautiful flowers, the yellow daffodils, the yellow daffodils, gleaming in the sun, brilliant, bold yellows, lush greenery, beautiful purple flowers, and just beautiful grass, and just Yahuwah's paradise, as much as it can be on this filthy earth that is poison and toxic. But you can find your moments of peace in Yahuwah. And as we're communing in nature and as we're walking, we realize how fortunate we are. You have no idea how fortunate you are if you're breathing today and you get out in nature and you could breathe some clean air, see some beautiful bright sun, some beautiful blue skies, take in that vitamin D, and just be at peace and commune with nature. You have, just right there, you have more than so many people. You are so fortunate. And so I am so grateful just for a day like this, just for a few hours like that, where I can take in all this brilliant color, all this vibrant beauty, all of the sweet smells of nature. It smelled sweet in the air from the flowers and just the fields. It was absolutely amazing. The blue skies were brilliant. The vitamin D, the sunshine, nourishing us, nourishing the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. And I fell to my knees. My wife, we fell to our knees in prayer and in gratefulness to Yahuwah. Believe me, as little as you think you have more than you know. Just an hour or two like that is wealth, is riches. It's the beautiful tapestry of nature given to us, bestowed upon us. We are blessed by Yahuwah. We are rich. Our cup runneth over. If you have Yahuwah in your life, if you live for Yahuwah with robustness and dynamism, if you do all things in Yahuwah heartily, you have more than you know. Just grateful, so grateful for that. And so what you don't want to do is underestimate, never underestimate. No matter what you think you don't have, no matter how poorly you think you have it, no matter how broken you think you are, no matter how hopeless you think you are, no matter how frustrating the circumstances you may be in, never underestimate your capacity to be a positive force for others. Never underestimate your capacity to be an example for your people. It doesn't matter if you've been broken by tragedy, broken by addiction, broken by drugs, broken by alcohol, broken by bad relationships, broken by the demons of this world, the haters, detractors, psychic vampires, negative influences of this world, by the evil and sin in this world. It doesn't matter, because no matter how busted, broken, defiled, anxious, sick, ill, depressed that you may be, remember, you could be a beacon of hope in someone else's life. And in that alone, you can take heart and strength that you're doing the work and the will of Yahuwah, the Most High, the Supreme Elohim, in brightening the day for someone else, in lifting someone else up, in encouraging someone else, in helping spread love and joy in their life. In that alone, you have purpose. In that alone, you have direction. That alone, you have guidance, because you're being an example for your people. You have an opportunity to make a difference in some, even just an encouraging word. If you have no money to give, if you're too sick to get up, if you've been injured, make a phone call. You can make you speak, make a video, put it out, put a video out on social media, documenting that even though you may feel a certain way, you're here for others. You're here to brighten someone else's day. Even just you doing that, even if you're broken, depressed, sad, anxious, frustrated, sick, ill, whatever it is, just putting out a positive message to the world. In that alone, you're receiving the reward that Yahusha is storing up for you in the kingdom to come. Never underestimate, never undercut, never undersell. Never doubt your capacity to be a positive force in the life of others. Because that alone gives you something to live for. If you're feeling like taking your own life, if you're feeling suicidal, if you're feeling like life is just not worth living, think again. Don't do it. Hold yourself back, because by you doing that, you could save someone else's life. By speaking that reality that you've been hit with, and that you paused and you stopped and you thought about it, and you realized that, you know what, in not doing that, in not taking your own life, that you can be an example for others who might be hopeless and depressed. The will to carry on, the will to fight on, the will to break through all barriers, all mental barriers that have you wasted, that have you in total darkness, that have you in despair and depression and woe and sadness, self-hatred and addiction. Hold on, because you may be saving someone else's life. And that one good thing that you may do could change your life. Because in so doing, you're loving yourself as you're loving your fellow man. You're living for another day, and your voice carrying forward from the wilderness into the world has a vibration. There's a frequency that others may pick up, who are lost, who are suffering like you're suffering. And just by hearing your encouraging words, may turn around their life, might give them one more day on this earth for them to pay it forward and to help someone who may be at the brink and the end of their wits. That they should also hold on one more hour, one more day, one more week, and help save someone else. Pay it forward, pay it forward, pay it forward. It echoes through eternity. And in the kingdom to come, the kingdom of Yah, your treasure is stored up. There is no reward on this earth that even comes close to something like that. All that you can gain in this ephemeral, temporal world where nothing lasts, all that you can gain, all the wealth you could store up, all the riches you could store up, all the partying you could do, all the celebrating you could do, all the drugs you could do, all the alcohol you could do, all the cheap thrills, all the titillating entertainment, all of it is but a grain of sand amongst all the beaches, compared to the treasure and reward and wealth you store up in the kingdom of Yah for doing good for others, for being a beacon of hope for others, for being a force for good for others, for being strong for others, for being an example for your people. And so in all those things, and this is why I say, this is why we train, this is why we work out, this is why we get strong, so we can do that. So we can do that with energy, with dynamism, with robustness. We can do it heartily, as in Yahuwah, not as in man, not for man. Not to please other men, not to gain glory or esteem from other men, not because we're yoked or in debt to other men. No, we do all things productively, all things wholesomely, all things in all goodness, with robustness, dynamism, and heartily for Yahuwah. But to do that, we got to eat right. We got to eat energy-filled food, Yah's food, His food, the food that grows out of His ground, the food that is raised pastured, the animals that he gave to us, the crops that are grown naturally, organically, without chemicals, without toxins, wherever we get. Yah's food as best we can. As best we can. Not to eat the processed, toxic, chemical sludge. The man-made, constructed, designed, built foods that are not real. We eat real food, whole food, unprocessed food in its whole form. If you can't get organic, that's okay. Eat whole food. Single ingredient foods to strengthen the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh so that as he lives within us, as we're filled with the Holy Spirit, all of that energy can come through loud and clear, vibrant, picking up on the frequency so we can help others, so we can motivate others, so we can inspire others, so we can be an example for our people because we're eating the foods that nourish us, that make us strong, that fill us with his healing energy. And then we train, we work out, not for vainglory. That's how I used to work out. Not for vainglory, but to stay strong, to stay healthy. And I train, I don't even train anymore thinking. The body is an after effect. That's how I look at it now. Any shape that I'm in, the body is an after effect. It's a side effect. It's an afterthought of the training to connect with Yahuwah, to connect with Yahushua HaMashiach, the Son of the Most High, the Messiah, to be filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, and to be able to get into flow state, get into the zone, and ponder and receive the epiphanies, receive the communications, have the conversations with Yahushua HaMashiach, be filled with his knowledge, be filled with his grace, be filled with his glory, his salvation, his redemption, and on my knees, surrendering to him because I've tried it my way. It didn't work for 57 years. Actually, minus the last 8, because I've been on this last 8 years, I've been walking with Yahushua HaMashiach. I've been walking with Yahuwah, side by side on a faith walk, on a pilgrimage, on a journey. And it's led me to a place where I'm healed in all things. Listen to some of my other messages. Healed in every way imaginable. Cancers, liver issues, brought on by autoimmune reactions. Cancer twice, and then hit me from all left field, all different things showing up and then disappearing. Spots here, spots there, lesions here, lesions there, nodules here, nodules there, cancer, 2 big cancers ripped out of me, torn away over 8 years, still here, stronger than ever, more alive than ever. Drugs, alcohol, relationship issues, financial crises, every type of crises and tumult that you can think of. Everything gone, wiped away. I'm cleansed, purified, absolutely filtered, all out of me, disappeared, gone, dissolved, reborn, refreshed, revised, reconstructed, renewed in Yahushua HaMashiach. Stronger than ever, more alive. For the first time in my life, I feel alive, crystal clear, seeing the path, the kingdom come, because his light explodes. The Ruach HaKodesh explodes from within me, and his light shines out like an infinite number of rays of sunshine as I pay it forward, paying that light forward, paying it forward for others who are now where I once was, struck by all these crises over my entire life, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. It just never ends. Always searching for answers. Always searching for the truth. Always searching for the way. Always searching for a better life. And all that time it was in here. The Ruach HaKodesh, Yahuwah, Yahushua HaMashiach living within me. All I had to ask was for him to come into my life. And he delivered over and over and over again. Knock on the door and the door is answered. Seek and you shall find. Always climbing mountains, always climbing, getting to the top of the mountain, realizing you're just at the bottom of another one. Climbing up again, realizing that you're at the bottom of another mountain. Always climbing, always searching for answers, always looking for the reason why. Always asking more questions, looking further, deeper, never feeling fulfilled, never feeling satisfied, never feeling gratified. Always taking solace in a cheap thrill, a cheap high, a cheap revelry, a cheap celebration, cheap entertainment. And even these workouts that I used to do were workouts of the flesh, workouts of hedonism, workouts of gluttony, for the flesh, in the flesh, not for the spirit. All of that is gone. Everything, all of it, disintegrated, obliterated, and I'm reborn in Yahushua HaMashiach. And so I do all things now with this energy which is born of Yahuwah. I do all things with dynamism and robustness as in Yahuwah. And that's the way we want to approach our time on this earth. That's how we want to navigate this hallucination, this mirage, this illusion. We see the zeros and the ones behind it. We know what this world has in store for us. We know where it leads. And that's okay, because now we walk with the truth. We walk with the way. We walk in the life. We have the Word. And now we're alive for the first time. Our hearts no longer filled with concrete. Our souls no longer piled on with stone. Hard to the ways of this world just to survive it, just to thrive in it, clawing, scratching, cannibalizing, conquering, dominating at every turn, devising, crafting, conniving, always looking to get ahead, always looking for a way to navigate, always looking for a way to get more and more and more. It's never enough, never enough, never enough, until Yahusha fills your heart and soul such that you not only have enough, all things you receive and then some. Your cup overflows such that you have to pay this forward. And all things are revealed, all the answers you ever sought, revealed to you in abundance. So the revelations, the epiphanies, the knowledge, the teachings, the instructions, the blueprint in surrendering to Yahusha and asking Him to guide you, Him to show you how to live your life in a manner that pleases Him most. And He does. He fills you with the Ruach HaKodesh, and you're led on the path. And it's a beautiful thing. So never underestimate your ability to make a difference in someone's life. Do all things, robust, dynamic, and heartily, as in Yahuwah. And let us march taller than ever, stronger than ever, relentlessly, ceaselessly, unconquerable, undefeatable, unassailable, undeniable, unstoppable, as we move and groove and speed to kingdom come.